Hello everyone, welcome to the World Team League. Alrighty, hello, and welcome to another day of World Team League action. Sorry for a little bit of a slow start. I was just sorting out a couple of things and clicking a couple buttons and doing all that kind of stuff. Some good matches today. Twisted Fairy against Weibo, and then Basilisk against Vitality. That is genuinely a very good set of matches, so we're looking forward to this. We're getting into this obviously in just a couple of moments. I think this first one could be kind of interesting, but the players from Twisted Fairy need to step up. That Weibo roster is so stacked. There's no room for error here. See the matchups in just a moment to get a bit more of an idea as to how exactly things are going to be looking between these two teams as we get ready to go into our very first match of the day. Knights versus Oliveira, Classic versus Hero, and Stats versus Yoshi. It's winnable for sure, right? I mean, Classic Hero is probably what it comes down to. Stats Yoshi is not a guarantee on either side either. Honestly, it's a very interesting series altogether. That's why I was kind of getting my hopes and hypes up about it. As we start off with Nice. Taiwanese Protoss. And here is Oliveira. The Chinese Terran. Still the reigning world champion of StarCraft 2. It's amazing how long that lasts when you change the system. As here is Nice in the bottom left and Oliveira in the upper right. We start things off with this PVT best of 2 series. Of course, 2 maps these two play, and that builds into the overall best of 7 between Twisted Fairy and Weibo. So that is where we are at. That's where we are heading. There's our first probe. Starts to head across to the upper right-hand side of the map. Away we go. Try and see what is going on. So action begins here on Alcyone as map number 1. Starting map here, of course. Loser gets map pick for map number 2. Otherwise, the maps are predetermined. SCV chasing the probie. Probe getting hunted down. Just going to be seeing the SCV really chasing that for a little bit there. And let's just have the probe still trying to get a nibble here, nibble there. Just little bits of damage. Just trying to be a slight nuisance again at these early stages. Probe taking another nibble as well. And our barracks is going to come online. So barracks comes online. What's Oliveira going to bring? I mean, Nice is already a pretty aggressive player, and he will play kind of some funky stuff and some crazy things. So I feel like we're already looking at that in terms of like, hey, look, there's definitely some action we can put into play here. There's definitely some crazier things that we can do. So then, does Oliveira want to kind of be, any sort of aggressive against that, or is he very happy just sort of sitting back and saying, you know what? Yeah, you know what? You do your thing, and I'll do mine, and I'm just happy to play the macro game. As long as I can deny you being aggressive to me, I don't get into any weird situations, and again, steering away from weirdness may just steer me in the right direction, considering, again, just how good Nice can be in some of those quirkier, less than normal situations that arise in this matchup. So I'd say that's likely the way the thing is going, as our probie here does come moving along. Moving out down to the bottom side. Charge coming up, command center on the way in, and refinery still building. You have a couple of more Marines being brought up as well, so you continue to bring those out, get that all up and running here for the moment. Obviously, still yet to see anything really too crazy. High ground CC is quite safe from Oliveira. Completely understandable against Nice as well, although this is just normal anyways. A lot of different Protoss players can provide a lot of different aggression, right? So it makes perfect sense to just say, yeah, high ground CC, I'm going to be safe as my #1 priority, and after my #1 priority, my #2 priority is then kind of getting into, you know, maybe some harassment of my own or into my own game. Let's just not deal with any of that Protoss nonsense. So many players are taking that approach nowadays, where they're just like, you know what, yeah, let's just play this in a much more standard, chilled out way, and kind of just go from there. Once we get ourselves set on up, we just have ourselves an orbital command going to float on over. A couple stalkers still chilling on the low ground as well. Just going to see those pulling back as the Cyclone and a few Marines are enough of a higher power unit to trade with those stalkers, even if the stalkers do have that kiting ability. It's still going to take some damage, especially the Cyclone just creates issues there, just makes that a whole lot more complex, so makes sense, as we do have the Stargate running boosting out this Phoenix, so Phoenix is on the way in. Nice, actually just opening fairly safely himself. Phoenix are a very safe way to play in PvT. They're going to give you map control, they're going to allow you to make some pickoffs and harass a little bit. They can shut down a lot of dropships, etc. very easily, as that's a dead Stalker, unfortunately, and that's where, again, being careful about that Cyclone, like I was talking about before, with the smaller group of Marines, absolutely comes into play. In this case, we unfortunately just let one Stalker go down. We're going to load up a medevac of Marines and actually start to take those across the map, so away we go. Medevac's heading out to the bottom side as we have the Phoenix still coming up, Liberator, Siege Tank, a couple more Marines coming through as well. All of that still building by as this Medevac gets down to the bottom. Phoenix are going to be there to greet these Marines. Hello. How you doing? What's your name? Yeah, my name is Mr. Medevac, and I've brought these Marines to say hello. It's going to come straight in and, yeah, gets the unload, but just doesn't think it's worth sticking around for. It's kind of scary, right? Because once there's enough Phoenix up, they can, you know, any Marines start getting shut down, then the Phoenix jump on the Medevac, you lose that. That's not really what you want to see happening, right? So we prefer to avoid that at all costs if possible. Phoenix still just pulling away. As our Cyclone locks on, and again another Stalker going to be taking a few more shots. Phoenix Stalkers together just going after said Medevac, and the Marines and the Medevac continue to come through. Nexus and the Twilight Council still in production. We do have our tank sieging. Our units getting chased away. Phoenix up in the skies. A couple of Zelds joining up, and now the batteries going down also as we try and get some defense ready. But those batteries are extremely late, considering you have unupgraded gateway units right now. I mean, we're lifting up singular Marines. I don't think that's going to do it. One tank does go down as the Zelds got on top, but I can't really say that this was a great situation. Now, Nexus is still in trouble here. At least the batteries will be online soon. Liberator and the Natural at the same time just forcing these probes away, and we'll actually go and hit the Stalkers a little bit there, but Nice just says GG, man. He just can't save the third base, and Oliveira makes quick work of Nice in the opening game today in the World Team League, as he just takes that 1-0 lead for Weibo without any sweats. Without any sweat necessary. He was just cruising in game number 1, and yeah, wraps it up quickly as well, which is always great to get that quick win. Bit of confidence booster, and now Nice has to reset, pick his map, and decide what he's going to try and do to make things look better for himself going into a game 2 in just the next couple of moments. We'll get that underway here, guys, as we get World Team League action resuming in just a moment. Just waiting to see what that map pick is from Nice, and then we'll be able to go. Old Nora. Alright, well, actually kind of a decent map for Nice, because it's kind of Protoss-y to some extent, but also, I was going to say, it doesn't necessarily kind of, to me, say kind of Nice or scream Nice. Nice has been a bit more macro-focused as of late. The other thing is, though, this also still has a gold base, so there's still some potential for the crazies to be brought out here, so there's not just a complete kind of free reign of kind of what's going to happen, so interesting little opportunity coming up as we get into this game 2 very shortly. Here we are. Nice is going to be our Protoss. Oliveira, our Terran. Oliveira leads 1-0 for the moment. Game 2 coming at us right now here on Golden Aura. Right now. Away we go. Oliveira gonna drop the PP for a little bit of lag, so maybe something I can get sorted out in a moment or two. Obviously, China VPNs, sometimes just need to swap it and stuff, so I'll give this a moment. Sometimes you just swap a VPN and it's all okay. Hopefully nothing too major before we can resume. We'll give Oliver a moment. How's everyone doing? How's everyone's weekend been so far? Let me know what's up. Let me know what's happening. Good to see you all. Thanks for dropping by and hanging out with us for some StarCraft 2. Like I say, let me know what's up. Let me know what's good in the chat. I always want to hear from you guys as we get into this game. So it looks as though whatever lag has been momentarily resolved, at the very least, hopefully completely resolved for the rest of this game, and we can just continue through with StarCraft and no interruptions. Hope that's the goal. As we get ourselves up and running. Kind of intrigued as to what the this plan is from Nice, because to me Nice is obviously the very aggressive kind of player. Like I say, he's always got something up his sleeve, or at least you think he does usually, but hasn't really kind of done anything here just yet. So I guess we will see, given a bit of time, what his plan will be, what he wants to do, and all of that goodness. I'll just drop Nexus down. Again, we've got that gold in the bottom left corner. May not take it super early, but I have seen Nice sometimes take that as a very, as a third base even, or sometimes even just a fourth. Kind of skipping like a base or two out in the process to kind of get that gold and just try and play a very active style that keeps the Terran back and stops the Terran from spotting that. So that's a possibility of what may come to be on this map as well. As our Adept comes shading about. Also going to be on the move for a moment. Adept just heading up to the top side. Seeing what's going on. Adept makes its way forward to a couple of steps. Reaper comes back into the main base. I see a grenade going down. Couple probes are going to get popped at. See, we've got a battery here, but even just draining the battery of some energy is kind of nice, because then maybe if you have some kind of follow-up, there's less battery energy available. A lot of the time, maybe it doesn't mean nothing, but why not hit the probes a few times? Force units to actually come out of their way to come and deal with you. These things are all typically very beneficial to you, so make the most of those when the opportunities arise. See a couple sentries. The Adept moving around as well. I'm just going to be seeing them moving forwards and actually going to be able to pick up a kill here. So nice little grab. A little bit of cleanup being made. Raven is going to make a slight move out onto the map as well. It's just going to be coming across here, and obviously with the Raven out, some possibilities there as well. We know the Raven has that potential to just be so annoying over the course of a PvT. It can do so many different things, right? You can matrix important units, you can anti-armor missile the massive units, you can order turret to break up some zealot charge. You can harass with it as well. The Raven is such great utility, and not surprised to see a game in this series with that Raven being featured here. It's not something you go into every time nowadays as Terrans. There was a while where Terrans absolutely adored the Raven openers, and if they weren't opening with the Raven, everyone was kind of like, what's wrong, you know, are they not feeling it today? Nowadays, the Raven is just more kind of interspersed onto these games. A little bit less of a guarantee and more of a sometimes you go for it, sometimes you don't. Marines fighting off hallucination. Yo, what's up? Thank you so much, Filipino, for the 35-month resub on the Prime. Thank you so much. Keep up the good work. Love you. Thank you so much for the resub, mate. Appreciate the support. Helps us out massively. Helps us to keep on producing the SC2. As I'm sure you guys all know. Say it every day. But yeah, I really do appreciate it. Helps so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. As we do have the Prism still making its way across the map here for a couple of moments. The Prism just trying to see a little bit of what's going on. Drop down an Immortal. I mean, this is all well and good as long as you don't lose the Prism, but this is a little bit scary because there's a Viking next to it, and when you recall, Prism is low though, and that's already going to make it a little scarier when you try and do things with that Prism a bit further down the line as well, so that's not exactly going to be super pretty or super fun. So yeah, that's kind of scary too, honestly. Definitely a cause for concern. Coming back around, this Prism going to get active again. Trying to find some opportunities. Dropping the main base is obviously problematic for Nice, as Oliveira gets through and begins to honestly do quite a bit of damage. So Oliveira doing well. As he is able to get quite a lot out of that. We do see the interference rates going down here on the Prism, so you can't micro the tech units back up into it. Nice can't hold in the main base. I have Oliveira absolutely sweeping the floor with Nice in this opening series. As Oliveira, he might get cleaned up, but I think the damage is already done. A lot of these tech units have been in trouble. The battery here has no energy, so that Immortal will go down as well. And yeah, Oliveira gets cleaned up, but with so much damage dealt, and Nice thrown into such an awkward position, Nice cannot possibly be feeling amazing about this. That much is for certain. It's definitely a bit of a tough spot for him to now try and figure his way out of. He's going to lose a couple more probes here. Oliveira is already rallying more units out to the middle of the map, so he's 100% ready to just keep it going and to just not stop. Oliveira on a mission right now. To just go, go, go. We do have our Robo Bay, Robo Facility, Prism, Blink, and +2 armor on the way out. So there's our upgrades coming in from Nice. And get those armor upgrades, make some very tanky zealots, and maybe have those be able to hold the front line of a battle while the Stalkers put in the work. But I mean, all that's well and good, but you're going to need numbers of units to make those upgrades effective. And right now, trades like this, Oliveira is back in the main base, and you have to come running in haphazardly. These are where Oliveira is just going to take slightly better opportunities. He doesn't have anything following up from this time, which is fine. Doesn't have anything going elsewhere, but he's going to get rid of the Observer. There is actually the follow-up, though. And Nice gets clumped up on the attempted retreat. Fortunately, the Widow Mine's fire in the same place, but 6 probes still went down, so it's a good Widow Mine connection either way. Just a shame for Oliveira's point of view that the second Widow Mine didn't connect on even more probes. A little get-out-of-jail-free card for Nice, because that could have been even more probes going down right away there. Blink +2 armor, the Disruptor continuing up right now, so we continue to bring all of that in. This High Temple still keeping an eye on that medevac. That actually has one Widow Mine still in it, so opportunity to come back in again. Oliveira just giving himself a little bit more opportunities. That feedback is pretty good, but now we're just going to decide to just send it and just see what we can indeed do. Widow Mine drops off, away we go. And not too much, but hey, that medevac wasn't going to last there forever, so he's going to try and put some kind of aggression of his own into play. He gets the Prism warping in. He gets the Zealots already in the Prism, so they can drop while the other Zealots go running. So the opportunity is created right from the very get-go. This army of nice. Just setting up back at home. Immortal Archon now moving into Disruptors and Blink, so one of those compositions is going to make it very hard for him to die. But this is just not a great attacking force. This is not an army you look at and say, yep, this can move across the map and fight really easily. That's just not going to be the case. Cannons coming up, the battery coming through, and Nexus and a battery continuing in as well. Marines, Ghosts coming abound, the Vikings, Libs, etc. All coming through here for the moment. You see the Marines and the Ravens. Ghost showing up, getting a little bit of a cleanup over there as well. Just a little bit of action on that one. As that bio continues to move up and trying to get something into place. Just going to try and take down this Nexus. Super Battery activates, but the Nexus is gone. Stalker's blinking. Do not actually get the medevacs, so all the medevacs get out, and that's just a Nexus snipe. Oliveira hunting down bases as the Prism is going to make a move. Now, Vikings are on the way to try and stop it from warping in. The bio desperately chasing after it. Don't think we've got enough DPS here to stop the warp in, so there will be Zealots in the main base that we will now have to deal with. So Zealots will have to be figured out as our bio comes chasing. Zealots getting pushed away, a couple more going down. Bio Army still chasing out the front. Disruptor Shot comes flying through. Kaboom for 2 Marauders. And 2 Marauders going down. The next Disruptor Shot just not quite land, but damage already being dealt as Bio in the main now. Unloading once again. Vikings and Ravens continue to join up together. Stalker's just going to sit here, picking up a Sensor Tower, going after this bunker. Just getting even more damage done right here as Disruptor Shots are still continuing to just fly on through. Fire Force comes around to the bottom side. We're going to get some of the tech units here as this army tries to retreat away. We might get some of it out, but some of it's absolutely just destined to die, unfortunately, and that will be dropping. The recall goes down. Medics drops on 2 of the Disruptors. This Disruptor Shot may go off at the front, stop some of the Widowmines. Next Disruptor Shot hits some Ghosts. The Disruptors that were available absolutely made the most of their connections. Unfortunately, it's because you're missing 2, you can't keep pushing the Terran back, so you can't keep them off the 4th base forever. And Oliveira does take that base down, which is obviously a massive victory on his front. So Oliveira taking down that base and now continuing to put in the work here. As we scan the DTs, it seems, across the map. Just trying to deal with those. And hey, they're doing some pretty serious work. 19 SCVs go down. It's going to give Nysa a little bit of breathing room in the game again. A chance for him to actually be active in this, because I feel like he otherwise was not really looking to be in too pretty of a situation, obviously. Yeah, it feels like he's going to kind of get back into it now, and maybe Nice can... I mean, I say get back into it. I feel like he's going to give himself a shot again, whereas before it was already feeling as though this was very much so done, dusted, and he was kind of just getting swept under the rug. Now he has, like I say, a bit more of a fighting chance once more. Disruptor moving in from the bottom side. Disruptor's getting ready to launch onto this Bioforce. We will dive forwards. Kill the first Disruptor. Kill 2. Kill 3. Kill 4. Kill 5. Nice. Give up the idea. Finally one connects, but it's not on anything. It's actually just going to hit blank space. And that is going to be absolute pain on the side of... Nice, because he just lost pretty much all his Disruptors, and they just did not do what you need your Disruptors to do. The 4th base denied once again, and Oliveira won a very aggressive game 1, has been pretty aggressive throughout in game 2. That's going to net him a 2-0 win, and that's obviously massive for Weibo in this series. It's going to put the pressure on Classic to absolutely win some games against Hero, and it is also going to give Stats a little bit of a push to pick up a victory over Yeshi. So the pressure is on the Twisted Fairy Korean Protoss players now. It's such an all Protoss lineup they sent out today. So Classic, Hero. Classic must win at least one map to stop this from being an all-out victory before Stats takes to the stage. And then Stats can come through. I mean, Classic's very good. He can absolutely compete with Hero. But obviously it is still Hero, it is still scary. And the scary thing is as well, if you're just looking for one map, oftentimes you can say, well, you know what, sometimes... Sorry. Yeah, sometimes you can kind of, you know, pick your map as the loser of game 1, and then you have the advantage going into game 2. But that has less of an impact when it comes down to a PvP and a mirror matchup, right? So that's already potentially a problem down the line as well. So gonna be interesting to see what we can do, see what we can make happen as we get into Classic Hero in just a few moments. Well, here is Hero. Here is Classic as they set up and get ready to party. Into Ghost River for the opening map between them. So quite an aggressive and short rush distance map for this PvP. Could definitely maybe see some of the aggressive styles coming out to play on this one. So we will see how that goes down. Alright, here we are. We're ready to party apparently, as it is Classic in the top left and Hero in the top right of this PvP game number 1. They will obviously play 2 maps against each other, as is the way in World Team League. That's how this tournament works. Let's go, go, go. Pylons coming up. Probes on the way as we get settled down for the first few moments here. Obviously, this map, especially with the size of it, you expect 2 gateways each. I would not be expecting anyone to kind of really make kind of a weird or wild turn away from the expectations on this. So, kind of why we're feeling things out initially. Gateway setting up there. We have now a couple gates coming through, so again, a little bit of build-up happening right from the get-go. No messing around at the very start. Gates getting set up. Let's just have, obviously, like I say, those gateways coming down. We're going to see as the Cybercore finishes, does anyone go super aggressive and maybe move towards like a gateway number 3, for example? That is a possibility. The other option here would be to actually throw down some tech before we expand. We'll see. We also find out what the plan is with the units. Different units early in the game can give you some different setups, as there is the Robo immediately from Hero, so he looks to be aggressive. The Stargate a bit more of a defensive and expansion-based play from Classic, so he might expand. At the very least, he'll have a Stargate to help him defend. At least this isn't an expansion and then tech. That would be even worse for him dealing with whatever this Robo facility has in store for us here on the side of Hero. So I kind of like the opening, actually. Seems reasonable for now. Picking up the probe that's just in the main base. It's had some good scouting, so it knows what's going on. Hero knows what he's playing against and what he might have to deal with in this, so he does get that information pretty quickly. Stalker's going to turn back around and go onto the battery there for just a second. Looks like that Immortal being brought into play as... yeah, Mortal Stalker just being brought up, getting set here. Oracle coming through the top side. Actually going to spot the Robo being proxied here as well, so you're going to get that information So now you know, and I think he even saw the Immortal popping out of it. So full info here from Classic, as now he can kind of build his defense around this. I like the position of the batteries so far. Voidray will be pretty darn safe with batteries in pretty much every direction it could possibly move to when it comes to trying to keep itself alive. So that's really neat, because sometimes you see that kind of go not quite that way, right? Where the Voidray kind of has to run away and then it runs out of reach of a battery. Overcharge already used on the low ground there, by the way, so that's used pretty early on. May prove to be a problem. The sooner you have to use that battery, the more quickly you can run into trouble, because now you don't have overcharge ready for the next fight, etc., etc. So this can all add up. Person unloading in the corner, man. Classic just does not see this at all in his main base, and his defense in the main base is completely lacking, unfortunately. We're gonna have to pull probes in against this as well, and yeah, this just ain't fun, is it? As you're gonna be seeing that Immortal fully surrounded. So that does go well. Okay, the Voidray's actually gonna keep on fighting, and no retreat at all from Hero. Only 3 Stalkers. What a defense from Classic. Wow, that went way better for Classic than I thought it was going to. His Hero, I mean, he got into the main base freely, but then he just completely failed against the probes. Those probes are pretty good tanks, and actually very good against Stalkers. And Hero's just going to say GG. We're not even going to try a second time. Classic takes the first game of the series for Twisted Fairy, and we have got a series on our hands. Game number 2 then will be on Hero's map pick. He will get to choose that in just a moment. We'll be off and away. Just waiting to see what this game is going to be then, or what our map is going to be. This series is obviously not the longest of PvTs in the first match, and then this one has been pretty quick so far as well. Hopefully we start to get some longer games at some point here. As we make our way through, and we get up and running. Alright, game number 2, and we're going to start. Send the quality up with Classic in the top right, and then Hero in the top left. Did it just undo it? I'm not sure what it's doing. I just realized that for some reason I'm not actually on the correct internet today on my PC, and now I'm wondering what's going on, so I'll have to figure that out. Interesting. We'll have to sort that out between games, maybe. As we do have our probes on a bit of a journey. Gateways, simulators coming through here as we get settled down. And begin to figure out what our plan's going to be. So gates coming up, assimilators coming through. We get settled in for these early stages. Probes still moving up, and another gateway just going down. So it's going to be 2 gates coming up across the board here currently. That assimilator coming through as well. Probe still in production. Probe nibbles at another probe. We will see a pylon going down. Cyber course coming up. Gateways going through. Probes all on the way. Having ourselves a great nibbling happening for the early minutes here. Let's get that all set. solid sentry from Hero. It's actually just going to make this double sentry, and so it's going to get into a very kind of scouting-heavy setup. Definitely sort of feels as though this time no tech from him, and he will instead be looking to expand. It's just going to go for a different approach in this important matchup of the overall series, because I really feel like we've got a favor for Twisted Fairy in stats versus Yeshi. So if Classic was able to steal another map here, that would be absolutely huge. Would be absolutely massive. Talk about where these teams are at in the league right now, and Twisted Fairy are fighting for a playoff spot. A win today would not put them into the top 7, but it would put them closer. Twisted Fairy have Liquid and MYGAG to play against, which are very winnable teams, or very beatable teams, I would say, for Twisted Fairy. So it's possible they could slip into playoff position in the final weeks of the season, and a win here would be amazing for them in terms of doing that. Weibo currently sitting 18 points. A win today would put them into 2nd place in the league. A loss is going to keep them in amongst the mix, as the fight for 2nd place is very much so heated up right now. A big part of that will come down to what happens between Basilisk and Vitality later today. Next coming up, Sentries and Stalkers still coming through here as we get settled on in. And we do have ourselves the extra few units just getting warped in on the front of that natural. Units of Hero pulling back a little bit as well. Hallucination goes down. It's going to get sniped away at. This is going to be seeing Hero trying for a little bit of a push forwards. Force fields come down. We just don't have a battery here from Classic, and is it that greed that's going to cost him in the end? Having to pull probes is never pretty. He does get an extra warp in off. He does find that Stalker. Currently flying into the Guardian Shield of his opponent, though obviously doesn't make this too pretty either as they go back and forth. More Stalkers just get warped in. Stalker's still chasing. That one Stalker in the back gets taken down. He's talking the sentry, still hunting. Hero now getting punished a little bit. So yeah, it was a little bit wavy for Classic to survive through it, but now getting some units on the cleanup is definitely a big step in the right direction for him. Two more sentries get warped in. 4 Stalkers and the Immortal gathering together. Robo Facility, Blink, Gates, and a Prism all on the way up. 2 more gateways coming down as Hero gets, well, a lot of gates plus the Prism on the way, so big potential there. Now Mortal actually going to fire up some shots in Hero. Punishing Classic, who got a bit too adventurous with these Stalkers. They will get all the way into the main base and probably some probes. I like what Hero's doing, though. He's trying to cut these Stalkers off on their exit. He won't quite have the angle completely. Immortal gets there for the final shot. He probably was going to lose that one Stalker no matter what to the Stalkers, so very cool to try and get out and try and evacuate and try and make the most of this. Overall, not terrible, as we do see extra gates, batteries, the Immortal coming up on the side of Classic. Hero is ringing through into a Twilight Council, so getting that underway as well. Pylon there that's going to get grabbed and cleaned up. Now a few more Adepts going to get brought through too. Stalkers on the other side going to shoot down the Prism. That would be huge if it comes to Classic needing to find a defense here, because now units are going to be a little bit tough to reinforce with. However, does Classic have enough to even defend with here? That's going to now be our question. He has an Immortal, and obviously there's no micro potential from his opponent's units because they can't jump into a Prism any longer. This might have just bought Classic the little bit of time he needs to help out. However, the Adept shade into the main base, and immediately probes start going down. That's obviously going to kind of suck. So yeah, that multi-prong is going to start being the issue. We have gotten to 2 Immortals in the front here for Classic, but Hero just has so much army supply. Obviously, all the mining time lost in the main base is going to add up as well for him to have even less available when it comes to this next fight too. Immortal Chrono boosting on that Robo Facility. Nexus still coming down. Army just sits out the front here. We will see another Immortal popping in a moment. Extra few Adepts coming now. Next is still building. Prism and the Stalker on the way up. These Adepts are going to shade through the natural and actually go for a move up into towards the main base, where the Army of Classic is somewhat kind of waiting to greet it, but obviously the units from the low ground are going to be a problem as well. The Immortals got out. The Immortals fire up a Storm, and Classic has just not got the numbers to really put himself in the right positions to find a defense here at all. He's just in trouble. Trouble all around, it would seem. The Adept's going to end up shading out. It's going to have those Immortals going to go in onto the Twilight Council. I mean, they just get to recall out as well, so doesn't even get punished for kind of making these plays. Structure's depowered, and this game has just gotten completely away from Classic because his Blink Stalker's never really found much. He was always the one losing units, and Hero has just been able to systematically get himself towards this victory, which would put Weibo at 3-1 up against Twisted Fairy. Stats against Yeshi next. Yeshi would need one map to close the series out. Stats would have to 2-0 to force the ace match. Prism comes back over toward the main base here, just trying to find a little bit extra what's going on. I mean, Classic gotta do what he can do, right, which is just trying to harass, try and find value with these Immortals and the Prism. The problem is, it's going to be so difficult for him to stop Hero whenever Hero decides to come and fight. It's hard to imagine Classic will ever get the damage necessary to start evening out this game. This is a cute catch, right, on some of these Adepts. You blink forwards to fight them on their own, away from the rest of the army, but even then, you can clean all these Adepts out for free, and even then, it's not an even game. Even then, Hero has the advantage, so still a long way to go in that regard. Union's still moving through into the middle. Blink forward, he's going to get a snipe there, but at the end of the day, Classic is never going to have enough to survive this. So it doesn't really matter what the micro looks like. Hero is almost always just going to have too much, and that really is just the case. GG's and Hero takes it, and that is now a 3-1 lead for Weibo. Yeshi just needs one map off of stats to win this series for his team. Yeshi close out. Find out in a moment, guys. I'm just going to put us away from the WTL screen for a sec. I'm going to find out. Just try and figure out my internet stuff. I'll be right back in a moment. Alright, guys. They're going in game quickly, so not sure why, but I just don't have any internet offline. Ethernet, so it's interesting, but I guess I can't really fix that right now, so we'll just get on with it. Stats and Yashi coming at each other here. Get this up and ready to go. More PvP for us as we get underway. Look to see what's going to go down. Yeah, we get this set up and ready to roll. In these next few moments, so we get this underway. Stock coming up on each side. It's going to be seeing that Nexus coming through and get settled in on these early stages, and just going to be having our gates coming up and online, so bringing that through as well. Continue to get this going here for the moment, as we just have ourselves a Stalker chasing down the probe, and the probe will fall. And Sentry coming up on different sides. As obviously this is Amphion, and Amphion, the third map, or the third starting map of the series in terms of out of the 3 matches we've had so far. This one is the now starting map for the third series of it. Yeah, this one obviously has that ramp, so we already see a bit of different vibe of PvP than what we were seeing previously. So that already starts to look quite different compared to, like I say, what we saw before. We've seen our couple of Stalkers and the Zell continue to go fighting, as Stats puts on a little bit of pressure again. Stats now needs to get a 2-0 to see his team into an ace match. He obviously needs to get himself... Yashi just needs one single map. One map win for Yashi in this series is done and dusted here and now. As Stats is the one still applying some of this pressure. Blink on the way up to the Stats, whereas he has another gateway already coming in. Okay, he starts Blink as well, so we're going to see Blink on both sides. Blink on both sides, couple probes coming about here. Just having ourselves the Sentry and so on all continuing up as we have our Nexus coming through from Stats as well, so bringing that online. Also going to get a gateway up and running. I mean, Stats is taking advantage of having had map control. He says, yeah, I believe I can just take a third base out of the back of this, so I'm going to try for exactly that. So look at that Blink coming up. We got ourselves a Hallucination scouting through. And a couple of the gates coming about. That Blink is coming in as well. The Stalkers and so on continue to get going. We do have the next coming down the third base location from Yashi, so he's going to go for that kind of left-hand side third base, the more triangular setup Vivian does continue to provide kind of very different opinions from all of the players in terms of how you should be expanding, where you like to expand to, etc., etc. There's been no consistency with that. See if Stalk's going to go pinging away. Again, Stats just with map control has maintained it from the very early stages and continues to maintain it now as he breaks through a set of rocks and opens up access for the rest of his non-blinking units towards this third. Although now he gets jumped on, might be time for him to reassess that. Hallucination coming through is going to get nibbled at a little bit as well. Some heads down the left-hand side. We do have charge, we do have +1 coming up for extra gates and the observer. In production for the moment, there's a couple of gates come out on the side of Yeshi, the Dark Templar, and +1 continue through as well. Person moves in, drops the DT off, just going to get that into position immediately here as we'll go swiping through for a couple of those probes. Rose is being hit as the DT is going to get peeled down. Stalk is able to do enough there to pick that off, so that will fall. 3 more probes. I mean, nice little DT harass, and the sort of thing that can keep Yeshi in this. As Stats does get the cleanup on that DT as well. It takes the pressure off of Yeshi for a little bit, right? Yes, it comes at a cost, but look at this, a little bit of a worker lead. Stats is back at home defending instead of being the aggressor as he's been throughout the course of the game. Definitely a momentum breaker that Yeshi can try and meld to his advantage now. Okay, we're going to finish up. We do still see a couple more gates coming through. Immortal +2 attack, charge. All of that being brought into play. Still a few more Stalkers getting warped in. Going to try and get active. A few more Stalkers moving across. We'll see the +2 attack upgrade coming through on the side of Stats. His Immortal coming up as well. Still got the Nexus coming by, the Gateway on the way. Tommy's going to push up the front and is going to try and break forwards here. A couple gateways will begin to go down. I mean, again, Stats just haven't had map control throughout. Taking benefit of a gain here now as he is going to clean up the Prism and just defend his main base very comfortably, I feel like. And Stats just continues to eke out a supply advantage. There's just not been anything that's gone Yeshi's way. This is, to me, a very comfortably advantaged player. And Stats just kind of playing this out very, very calmly. He's been doing all the little things to keep him, things in his favor and all the rest of it as well. Hallucination pops up. Our Stalkers will be fighting back. Put a little bit more pressure on again. And Stats could actually go to the left side and actually knock down those rocks and open up access to that third base now. I think that may be what he's trying to do. He's moving a lot of his army in that direction, so open up this space and try and put some more actual pressure onto his opponent, force his opponent to really respond to the fact that this army is out here and ready to fight. Well, a bunch more Zealots getting warped in, super battery coming up. So we're just going to sit here. We will continue to charge forward. We will continue to look for that wraparound as we look for the fight here. And Stats just has so much more. This has honestly just been an extremely convincing first game. Not really much else left to say about it. Stats just through and through the player who looked favored in that one. Not much else to add as Stats powers up to a 1-0 lead in this best of 2. And that means that he's a map away from forcing an ace match. Yashi must win this to win this for his team without the ace. Weibo, yeah, I mean, it's very tight at the top of the league. And to lose a point, even if you win the ace, to not get all 3 points, but only 2 points for winning an ace instead of outside of one, that would be, yeah, something you'd prefer to avoid. Oceanborn for map number 2. It's Yoshi's picks. This is where he feels like he's going to be his most comfortable. This is where he feels like he can be at his best. As we head on into top left with stats, our blue Protoss player. On the bottom right, our red Protoss is Yoshi. Probe heading back towards the upper left-hand side. And he's got our gateways up and online. So we've seen Probe chasing another Probe here for the moment. So just like getting some action done. Probe comes off to the side, puts down some Cyber Core action as well. Probe, again, just still scouting around in this main base, trying to see a little bit more of what is up and what is happening. A couple stalkers, a couple of devs, just continuing through. Warp gates on the way up. Get everything settled in.